We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Boom! Headshot!
Hey, it's Clay. How you guys doing? I have another League of Legends commentary for you. This time I'm going to talk about why buy Veigar, or Veigar, or however you want to say it. I'm probably just going to mash it all together and have a good time with it. But he's actually a really interesting champion. He's a Yordle, which I have a soft spot in my heart for Yordles. I think they're really funny. And he's crazy. He's kind of insane, and he's got this funny little voice. He kind of hops around all over the place. Just super cute, also super evil. Kind of an interesting combination. But let's talk about Veigar and why you'd want to buy him and play him. He is an AP carry, definitely a caster mage. In terms of just kind of how he fits within the AP carry role, he is a very, very strong single target nuker. And you could also think of him as kind of an anti-AP carry. He very much he's very, very strong against other mages, other champions who are building mostly ability power, just because of the way his ultimate works. But he's a very, very interesting, very strong champion. In this game, I'm going against Karthus. Just kind of an FYI, this is actually one of my first games with Veigar, so it's definitely not the best. I by no means claim any expertise with him, but I do feel like I have a basic understanding of his gameplay, and I'm going to try to share it with you if you're kind of a newer player just looking to get the basics of Veigar down and why you'd want to try him out. Also, this game we had Shen went AFK. He was our jungler. He was actually doing really well, and then he went AFK. But that's nonetheless, I don't want to spoil anything. So let's go ahead and start talking about Veigar and why you'd want to buy him. First and foremost, let's talk about his skills. His passive, it increases his mana regeneration rate by 1% for each 1% of mana missing. So basically, the lower on mana you get, the faster his mana regen works. So it's a nice passive for a mage. It helps you to make sure that when you get low, it's easy to build that mana pool back up. It's a nice passive. I really like it on Veigar. It works really nicely. His Q is his main skill that you really want to use quite frequently. This is the one that I max first, and I find it most effective. It's basically just a single target nuke. It has moderate range. It's 650 range, which is pretty standard for any sort of ability like that. And also, as you put more levels into it, the cooldown goes down to about 4. And if you also put some points in cooldown in your masteries, and if you build some cooldown items, you can almost spam it. Get that cooldown to about 3 seconds or so. So his Q is definitely the primary ability that I use. Also, its active is extremely important for really maximizing Veigar's potential, and it's one of the things that makes him very unique. Basically, if you last hit with your Q and you successfully kill the minion, you actually gain a point of ability power. So you can see right here, it says that I have +4 ability power down here. Actually, it says +9 now. That means that I have successfully last hit 9 times, and so I've gained a permanent +9 ability power. And so basically, if you spend the entire first 20 minutes farming like a boss with your Q, I mean, you will have a gigantic pool of ability power. I mean, you'll see some Veigars get up to 800 or 900 AP, and that's primarily because they're doing a really good job of farming with their Q. So it's a really, really handy skill. It also has a passive where you gain 2 ability power when you kill a champion from any source of damage. So basically, if you get kills on champions or minions, you gain extra AP. So a very, very interesting ability here. So, you know, really this is probably the most fundamental thing about playing Veigar is you have to learn how to successfully last hit with your Q. And I like to put a lot of points in it as soon as I can. Even to the point where you might skip some other abilities just because you really want to lessen that cooldown. Like I said, every level it drops a second in cooldown. So you really want to make sure that you have that up and ready to last hit as frequently as possible. So I'll take its first and maybe even third. It's just a great spell all around. And then let's talk next about my W. This is Dark Matter. After 1.2 seconds, this Dark Matter will fall from the skies, causing magic damage. Basically, it is an AoE delayed magic spell. I just used it right there. It had this crater right there. It's a really nice ability. I use it a lot to farm towards the end of the game. Also use it in conjunction with your E, or if you get a target lockdown in some sort of CC. It's a really nice ability to help just cause a lot of damage when you have targets trapped. Really the only downside of this ability is that it has that 1.2 second drop time. I'm probably going to use it right here. Oh, no, I used the box and then my Q and then call it down, but it was a little bit too late. So you can see right there I wasn't able to get it to fall onto Karthus just because I was too late. It has that 1.2 second delay, which is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. It's still a really strong ability because of its AoE. It also has some very strong scaling with ability power. It has 100% AP ratio. So, you know, if you get 400 AP plus the max level does 300 damage, that's like 700 damage with one Dark Matter in that AoE. So a really strong ability there. It also has some nice range on it. Really nice. So let's next talk about my E. That's this box right here that you're seeing. It's called Event Horizon. Basically, it is like, it creates this sort of arena or box kind of in a pentagon, and if your enemies touch the edges of the box or pentagon, they actually will be stunned. So it's a really interesting ability. It's very... Let's see, I get a nice kill on Karthus there. I actually used my ultimate right as it came up on level 6, so good timing there. So this Event Horizon is probably Veigar's most signature ability. It creates that box. I keep calling it a box, but it's a pentagon. And basically, the more points you put in, the longer the stun is. At max level, I believe it is a 2.5 second stun. So a really, really powerful stun. You can trap enemies in there. You can trap whole entire teams in there, and they'll basically be either get stunned or they'll just sit in your box and eat your spells. So it's a very, very powerful spell. Learning how to successfully land Event Horizons, especially during team fights, is really crucial to playing Veigar successfully. And it's definitely his most signature spell. It kind of has a little bit of a longer cooldown, 20 seconds at level 1, down to 16 seconds at level 5. But, you know, that you get the stun leveled up, so I like to max this skill second. You know, I find that it works really nicely to get that stun level up as much as you can. You can also max your W second, but I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up. I think you could go either way pretty viably. It's just kind of personal preference. And then lastly, his ultimate is a Primordial Burst. Basically is a single target absolute gigantor nuke. It does a ton of damage, scales huge off of ability power. And the really interesting thing about this skill is that it actually will also deal 80% of the target's ability power. So, if you cast this spell on an enemy AP carry who has built a lot of ability power over the course of the game, you will do a ton of damage to them. And this is what makes him kind of an anti-mage. He is extremely capable of dealing a lot of damage to anybody on the enemy team who has built a lot of ability power. So if you combine all the AP you're getting from your Q, plus all the AP that your enemy has been building over the course of the game, plus the really high base damage levels, plus the AP scaling, I mean, this is just it's got 120% AP scaling. I mean, you have the ability to do an absolute truck-ton boatload of AP damage to an enemy mage. It's really, really effective. You know, and because of it's that 80% of a target's ability power, you want to make sure that you're, you know, either spamming this ability on some sort of squishy or on an enemy mage. You don't want to be sending this on some sort of like a tank or somebody who has been building armor and physical damage all game long, because it's just going to go completely to waste. You really want to make sure that you utilize that plus 80% target AP. It's really, really what makes Veigar so successful. And really towards the end of the game, if you burst down your combo successfully on an enemy AP carry, you can probably burst them. Over the course of like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, you can absolutely destroy them almost immediately. It's just crazy. His level of burst is absurd. So let's talk a little bit about combos. Combos with Veigar, almost any AP carry, specifically Veigars, are always important to know their combos. With Veigar, it's very interesting because you want to probably lead off with the Event Horizon. That's going to trap your target. One thing to note is usually more inexperienced players won't really know what to do. When they see the Event Horizon, they'll get freaked out and they'll start to run away and they'll run into the edge. It's usually pretty safe that they will do that. You can pretty much count on it. Right there, I get a nice Event Horizon and a nice Q off, killing the Xin Zhao there. Oh, I'm not going to get my W there. So, you know, the Event Horizon is definitely the skill that you want to lead off with. It's a great initiation tool, especially if your team is around you. Against more experienced players, they're going to definitely learn how to dodge it, or they're going to sit in the middle of it and maybe flash out, or if they have a blink, they'll try to blink out. So you want to maybe learn how to position it just so that it falls when they're on the edge already, if that makes sense. So basically you would cast the spell so that the edge of the ring lands on the champion at the time when you cast it. So basically they have no choice but to get stunned because of the way you cast it. It makes it very effective. So you can be really, really strong and effective with your Event Horizon. And so once you cast that, they're going to be stunned. That's a perfect time to cast your W, because Event Horizon, even at level 1, has a 1.5 second stun duration, and your W has a 1.2 second delay. So even at minimum levels, you'll be able to land your W on the enemy player that you just stunned. So learning to chain together Event Horizon followed up by your W is really important to do it very quickly. Then you want to land your Q, just because that's another source of damage, and there's a short cooldown timer. And then is when you want to pop your R, and if they're still not dead yet after that, you could possibly use Ignite or another Q, because it probably will be on off cooldown after that. And then after that, you're pretty much done, and you're going to need to wait for your cooldowns to come back again. Maybe spamming some more Qs is useful, but really that's your basic combo. You start with your E just to get them trapped, then you go to your W to utilize the stun so you can really land your W, then a Q, and then an R. And if you're doing this against an AP carry, I promise that you will do an absolute metric ton of damage. It's a really, really powerful combo, and probably, you know, I have not played all of the AP carries in League of Legends, but it's got to be one of the strongest single target nuke combos in the game. Just an absolute crushing ton of damage once you build AP. Just to talk a little bit about Veigar and his weaknesses, he is a little bit of low mobility. He doesn't really have any sort of escape. You can kind of use your E in more of a defensive manner to try to put some space between you and your enemies. That's definitely very viable and probably his only defensive technique that you can use. But it's also not very reliable, just because his E has a pretty long cooldown, and also, you know, if you're getting bursted, you may not be able to get enough space between yourself and the enemy to drop your E successfully. So you really have to rely on good, solid positioning with Veigar. You need to make sure that you are playing properly. Let's get a nice Event Horizon, use my Q and my R, get a Karthus nice and chunked. Looks like a Moomoo's going to follow up after him. I don't know if he is going to get the kill. Nice job there. So I was able to help a Moomoo there get a nice kill on Karthus. You know, some of his other weaknesses, all of his skills are single target, and they are most effective against enemy mages, which if you're playing up against a team that it doesn't really have a lot of mages, or maybe let's say like a top lane bruiser gets fed, or the enemy AD carry gets fed, you're going to have a limited effectiveness. You're just not really going to be able to wreck them. You're kind of a niche in terms of your maximum effectiveness is going to be mostly towards enemy mages. So he's kind of a limited role. Definitely not completely worthless, you know, because he can still do a lot of damage to almost anybody with his single target nukes, but doesn't really have the capability of just absolutely carrying a game in almost any situation against almost any type of foe. He also doesn't really have any sort of AoE. You know, I guess his W is AoE, but his strength is definitely with single targets. So basically, you run in, you pull off your full burst against an enemy, hopefully their AP carry, and then you're pretty much done. You're not really going to be able to provide a lot of effective... Oh, I almost got my Event Horizon down there. I mean, really, your Event Horizon, your nice pentagon of stun, is the place where you're going to provide the most utility to your team. But you're not really going to be able to do much in terms of damage, in terms of AoE, just because your W is very unreliable, because targets are always moving, and it's hard to predict where people are going to go. that 1.2 second delay makes it difficult to really make sure that you land that solid AoE damage. So, compared with somebody like Brand, who is very, very reliable, effective AoE damage, it just makes it a little bit difficult to land AoE spells. And nice job there. We could pick up some nice kills here in this bottom lane. Also, Veigar is definitely reliant on landing your Q to last hit. You really need to make sure that you're building up a huge cache of AP with your Q. So at this point I have 59 bonus AP from landing my Qs. If you're against an unfavorable lane matchup and you have a hard time getting going, it's easy for you to get snowballed in the wrong direction. As you see here, I'm using my Event Horizon defensively to keep Diana away from me. Overall though, he can have a hard time if you don't build up a lot of AP with your Q. He can have a hard time being effective later game and just kind of essentially just get zoned out and totally. You see right there, I get totally caught out. That's kind of what I mean by his lack of a defense mechanism. Once my Event Horizon went down in the wrong place, I was pretty much shucks out of luck. But other than that, he's really a strong champion and definitely somebody worth learning and picking up, just because he has this unlimited potential for AP. If you can play some solid farming in the early game, just absolutely pound your Q on those minions for last hitting, you just get this huge target of AP, and you are an absolute force to be reckoned with, and every other enemy AP carry is going to be really, really scared of you. So he makes for a really interesting champion in that regard, and definitely somebody that you is worth taking a look at. His E provides your team with some really interesting team fight abilities. See if I might try to pick Karthus up in an Event Horizon here. Kind of an interesting collection here. At this point in the game, we've got a nice lead. I get a nice job there. Nice, very nice. Okay, that worked out really, really well. I started with an Event Horizon to really initiate, followed up by a Mumu, who used his advantage toss into an ultimate. And then we got some kills, but we lost some kills. So overall, it was a pretty even trade. My team is in kind of a rough spot right now because Lee Sin is AFK. So it's basically Teemo, myself, Amumu, and Jax, who's fairly fed at this point, against a full 5-member squad on the other team. So we're definitely struggling in a 4v5, but we're going to try to make it work using my W to farm up a lot of minions, still using my Q to try to farm up as well. I just cannot stress how absolutely essential it is that you use that Q to build up a boatload of AP. You can see at this point I already have over 300 ability power, and I basically only have a Rabadans and a Tear of the Goddess, so extremely, extremely effective. Dropping in on a team fight here, dropping an Event Horizon, gonna get a kill off on Xin Zhao. Not feeling brave enough to go in after Karma just because Garen is there and he's gonna wreck my face. And Veigar, I think he definitely fits in with a very traditional AP carry type role. You need to play defensively, you need to stay behind your team, you need to work with your tanks. Just because, let's see, at this point I get rushed by Garen trying to use my Event Horizon to try to keep him in place, getting stunned, but I'm in trouble. I gotta get the heck out of here. Oh, using my flash, can I get away? And I can. Okay, so escaping with less than 100 health. But yeah, Veigar, he definitely, you need to play defensively in terms of, or I guess not defensively, but you need to be very smart with your positioning, almost like an AD carry, but just an AP carry form. You need to make sure that you are, not getting yourself caught out a lot, because he's really weak 1v1, probably extremely weak 1v1. He just has almost no ability to. Gonna drop a box here, getting a couple of people. See if I can get Garen here. Nice, able to pick up Garen with a Q, and able to weaken out Diana. See if we can, and Karma. Good job with the Teemo mushrooms, but I'm kind of caught out here. Let's see if my team kind of collapses in this position. Not really sure what to do. My abilities are all off cooldown, so I can engage using a Event Horizon. I'm just going to get out of here because I feel like I'm in trouble, and my team is definitely not in a position. With Jax down, just the 3 of us. No Lee Sin, no Blind Monk to come help us out with some karate chop kicks. Oh, I get caught out a little bit there by Karma. Gotta be very afraid of Xin Zhao. Basically, if I get caught out in the open, I'm gonna get insta-bursted. I'm very, very squishy. Using my Event Horizon there, not the best choice. Kind of a bit of a waste, but such is life. Drop my W, get a little bit of damage there on Karthus. And we're just kind of tiptoeing back and forth at this tower. Basically, at this point, I am really focusing on this enemy, on Karthus. I really want to burst him down. Also, Karma would be a good choice. Maybe even Diana, too. She's got some ability AP build going on here. So any of the three of them are going to be my main targets. Garen and Xin Zhao are... I really have no business going after them. Getting a nice box off and bursting down Karthus with the help of a Mumu's ult. And I get a nice burst off on Karma. And we get one more. Okay, and another more on Xin Zhao, getting a nice double kill there. But at this point, I'm in deep trouble, and I eventually fall. So you can see right there that once my front line went down, which was basically only Jax, Teemo, and a Mumu, I guess a Mumu too, once they went down, it was pretty much all over for me. I really was in a bad position. Just got caught out. But you can see just how strong my single target burst is. I was able to take a huge chunk out of Karthus, helping Mumu pick up the kill, then getting a double kill on Karma, and then on Xin Zhao. But you know, at this point, my ultimate is definitely not up, so I'm getting a nice box out there. I'm gonna try to get some damage off on Karthus, but not quite enough. Without my ultimate, I really can't try to get a kill in one burst. But a good job by a Mumu picking off Garen, but we got to be careful here. I'm really, really hoping to bear down on Karthus. I should really use a box at this point. There's the box. There goes Karma. There's my Q and a W. Nice job. Okay, I was able to pick... I think I just used my ultimate as well. So, again, just a huge burst of damage. If we think about it, that's 300 sets. So right there, we're doing about 900 damage with... Wow, that's just crazy. 522 AP. That is boatloads. And plus the 500 base damage. So over 1,000 damage now. Oh my goodness gracious, that is absolutely absurd. I'm going to get bursted down here. That's a little unlucky. My teammates couldn't quite help me out, but... Oh, the Karthus picking up there. But I'm pretty much doing, you know, over 1,000 damage. And then if we look at Karma, let's see. I want to see how much of AP Karma has. 282. So 80% of that is probably around 240, something like that. So my goodness, that's almost 1,300 damage just with my ultimate on one single target. That is absolutely craziness. Pretty sweet stuff. So you can just see how absolutely, I mean, really, Veigar is all about landing those huge single target burst nukes. That is really the name of the game with Veigar, and you can just see how effective it is there on somebody who's building AP like Karma. Just trying to push some waves with my team, trying to get something happening. We're having a hard time being offensive just because we're a man down without Lee Sin. We're in trouble. The Mumu's also kind of struggling here, and things are starting to look a little bit sour. And we're up 40 to 19, 40 to 20 now kills, getting a Event Horizon, trying to get a W there. There's just not much I can do because it's Xin Zhao and Garen, and I just don't have the spells. My ultimate is on cooldown, my Q is on cooldown. Now I got my spells back up, but able to get Garen caught there, but not enough damage and not going to land my W. At this point, I just don't know if I'm able to really get a lot of burst down. Karthus is probably my best target, but waiting for my cooldowns. That's pretty much all I can do at this point in the game, but I've been able to get some nice kills. I've also been able to farm pretty effectively, but just don't have enough team support to really make things work. Oh, am I going to get caught out here? Okay, nice. Able to get a nice kill there on Karthus using my Q and my ultimate in succession, but at this point, well, we're pretty much struggling. Amumu is pretty behind. He has not hit level 18 yet. Teemo is not even at level 18 yet, but you know, Teemo went for AD. That probably is why he was having a hard time being effective. I actually didn't even know that. Silly AD Teemo. You know, but then when you compare that with, look at this enemy team. I mean, Garen is really playing strong. He's got a nice build going, nice and tanky. Karthus has plenty of AP. Karma and Jin Zhao aren't really doing too much, but at least they're there. And then Diana also has got a pretty dangerous build going on as well. So at this point, let's talk a little bit about build and items. Rabadans is probably your biggest item. You're definitely going to want to push a Rabadans almost immediately. Archangel Staff is a great choice. Sorcerer's Shoes is a fantastic item. It's really just very, very standard AP. A Deathfire Grasp is also a very, very good choice on Veigar. Zhonya's Hourglass would also be a good choice. If you, it'll give you some AP, also help you to make sure that you're staying alive if you get bursted down. Okay, unless I make it out of there. Also, some things to consider is a Void Staff if the enemy team... Oh, I get picked off by Karthus there, that's stinky. But a Void Staff would be really, really effective if the enemy team starts stacking MR, just to give you that boost of magic penetration. Also, an Athene's Unholy Grail. I believe I maybe go for that at this game. I'm not really 100% sure. That's a really good item too. Give you some cooldown reduction, which could be really, really handy, specifically with your Q. Yeah, that could be really, really nice. But really, very, very standard AP-centric items. There's not too much left to say on Veigar. He's pretty straightforward. You basically just want to hunt down the enemy AP carries or almost any champion on the enemy team that is stacking ability power and just pop your E to trap them. Use your W, wait for it to fall, then go to your the rest of your combo, your Q and your R. Basically, it's all about landing burst. It's all about landing that combo. Lock them down with E, W, Q, and then R. Maybe an ignite if you need to finish them off, but it's pretty much your basic combo. You want to just get as much damage done as possible with our boy Veigar there. I'm going to back that up just to see. We got some nice kills there. So at this point, again, initiating with my E is probably the best chance my team has. Dropping my E, try to get a nice trap off there on Garen. See if we can get him bursted down. We'll drop a Q. Nice. Okay, good job by Jax. And it looks like Diana's coming in pretty scared, but nice job by Jax to pick up a triple kill there. But I'm just not sure it's going to be enough at 4v5. My boy Amumu is a little bit behind. He's not actually very tanky, which is a bit of a problem for Amumu. Amumu needs to have at least a little bit of tankiness, and he's kind of gone straight AP. Looks like Jax is doing more work. Jax actually had quite a good game, 21 kills now. So really, we did a pretty solid job, but just not really able to deal with all this pressure. Ooh, nice job able to pick up a kill there. Let's go ahead and watch that one more time. Sorry, guys, I'm going too fast. I've forgotten when all the action is. So they're going for this inhibitor, dropping an Event Horizon right there, and actually didn't do anything, getting a little bit of help from Amumu and dropping my Q. Yep, and it looks like I also used my R. So my ultimate on Xin Zhao, even though I did not get that boost because he's not building AP, I was still able to get a nice burst there, and I'm still doing a lot of damage. Let's just take a look. Oh, a nice Event Horizon. See if I can get Karma. Nice job with my Q. Now I'm running away because I'm in deep trouble. Not much I can do. Okay, good job by Timo to see if we can pick up Garen. Do I have my E is off cooldown? There it is. Nice job. Perfectly placed Event Horizon there to trap Garen as he's trying to run away. But if we just take a look, I mean, I'm up to 820 AP. I have stacked 138 AP from my Q. My R is doing almost 1,500 damage plus 80% of target ability power. So let's just think if that's going to happen to Karthus. He has 500 AP, so 80% of 500 is approximately 450. Or about 400 maybe. So if we add 400 to that initial... Oh my gosh, these numbers are getting staggering. So that's almost 2,000 damage to Karthus. That's almost an insta-burst to Karthus at 23,900 with one spell. I mean, that is crazy amount of damage with one spell this late in the game, but it was a little bit too late. See if I can get Trap Karthus with an E. Nice. And there's a R and a Q, and we get the kill pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy. You know, Veigar is the absolute definition of a mage killer. He's definitely really strong. You know, and really, I would say that Veigar also, you also have to really know when to strike. You know, his spells, specifically his Q, don't have the hugest range in the world, so you have to know when and how to get in range to pop those spells, because like I said, he's so essential about getting burst. You know, I've got a really nice, just tons of AP going on, pretty much straight up AP. That's pretty, maybe a little bit of cooldown. See if I can get a nice event horizon, and a W. Got a little bit of damage, but Garen is coming after me, and I'm in trouble. Able to scare him away with the help of those turrets, but now all of our inhibitors are down. Too many minions, dropping my W to try to get some minion kills. But oh, I really want to go after Garen, but I just don't have enough health. I'm extremely squishy. Oh, this could be trouble. Diana, let me go. Please let me go. Oh, shut down. I got lured in by Garen there. I thought I could get him, but we're pretty much down to the end of it here. As our turrets are falling, there are hundreds of minions here. Kind of a weird game. We had a ton of kills. We still ended up losing just because we didn't have a very good team comp. No, you know, Teemo had a really, Amumu had a very strange build. Jax was doing a lot of damage. Teemo went straight AD, very strange, and I went straight AP. So we almost had no tank whatsoever. Just shows the importance of a good team composition. But anyways, I hope that kind of showed you how to play Veigar, why you would want to buy him, and why he can be effective. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any thoughts in the comment section below, or any champions you'd like to see in a future why buy, because I'll definitely be doing more as I continue to learn more champions. But hope that this helped you guys, and I will see you again soon.